Hey everybody, my name is Anthony Cofrancesco from brainyflights.com, and today I'm going to answer a question that I get all of the time. And people ask me, Anthony, how do you travel so much? Right? And I assume that's kind of broken down into a couple of different things. A, how do I afford to travel so much? And B, how do I take the time to travel so much? So in response to the first question, how do I afford to travel so much? Well, the real answer to that is really, I am very, very good at finding cheap deals on hotels, on flights, on travel in general, right? And that's something that, after reading a lot of articles, spending a lot of time researching travel hacking, you just get better and better over time at finding deals. So one of the companies that I run is called brainyflights.com, and there I've actually consolidated everything that I know about travel hacking into a 4-hour course. And it pretty much covers everything, right? So if you want to learn how to really save a lot of money traveling, I would definitely recommend checking that out. There's a link in the description below. Additionally, there are sometimes I contribute for a very large frequent flyer website called thepointsguy.com. So sometimes I will get contracted out to review airlines, review flights, review different kind of experiences, and sometimes I'll be able to get paid for going and actually traveling, but that's pretty rare. There's a small amount of times that I actually work with different companies to go and review their hotel or to stay there and give them business consulting advice for just different things that I see with their business. But a majority of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, I'm usually just paying for things out of pocket, right? So I'm just finding really good deals. If I would add it up to how much I spend every year, I'd say I probably spend, and this might be a lot for some people, it might be really not that much if you think about it, but I try to put about 10% of what I make on an annual basis. I usually try to put that into a travel bank account for myself and say, that's what I want to spend. And I found I haven't even come close to ever hitting that, but it's nice to say, hey, if I want to just splurge and stay in a hotel one night, you can just do it because you're putting aside that money. And 10% of your income, if it's something that you enjoy doing, everyone has a different hobby. This is what I always like to say. Before I was really into traveling, I used to cycle. I used to bike a lot. I had 10 different bikes, and they were very expensive. I used to travel around for races. So, everyone has a different hobby. Some people's hobbies are very expensive, and if you're putting a little bit of money and you're saving into your hobby, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. So the other side of the question is, how do I have enough time to travel? And the real answer for that is, I've actually had to adjust a lot. So recently I started a full-time job working at Amazon. And before that, I had been going to college, but then also working remotely on a couple of different businesses that I was running. So when you're remote and you're working from a laptop, it's actually really straightforward. It's really easy to be able to travel because you can kind of just go anywhere. But when you're working a full-time job, a lot of people think, well, that means that I can't travel at all. And I don't think there's anything that's further from the truth. Even when I'm working, even since I've been working full-time, and that's between 40 to 60 hours a week, so it's not like I'm working a small schedule, I'm still finding time consistently to travel. And essentially what I do, because I'm young, I don't have kids, I don't have really a family, and I'm out here living in Houston. Pretty much when I get off of work, let's say I get off of work on Friday night, I go straight to the airport, I'll go fly somewhere for a couple of days, and then I'll come back in time for work, either flying the same day that I work or flying the night before. A lot of people really don't like doing this, right? It really freaks them out to say, hey, I live in Houston, I'm gonna fly to Colorado for the weekend, I'm gonna fly back in time for work on Monday. But when I'm able to find really, really cheap deals, one of the things I show in my course is I've flown to Colorado multiple times for $30 round trip. So if you can fly really cheap like that, and you can say, hey, I'm gonna go to a completely different city for the price of essentially a dinner, it's kind of a no-brainer. So what I recommend is utilize the time on your weekends, but then also, this is the most frustrating thing that I see, is make sure you actually take your paid time off. And one of the most frustrating things for me is I have friends that they actually don't take their vacations every year for whatever reason. Take your time off when you get your time off, even if that means you're just gonna take some kind of small trip. Don't sit at home and watch Netflix. You're gonna kick yourself for doing that in the end. So anyway, I hope that answers some questions about how I'm able to travel so much. Maybe you'll be able to apply some of those to your own life. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. down below, questions or comments, and I hope that you give this video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel for more helpful videos in the future. Thanks so much.